He's making a list. He's checking it twice. He's gonna find out who's naughty or nice. But this year, there was no Santa. So what the hell? Welcome to Dissect That Film's Holiday Favorites 2023. Hey! What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dissect That Film podcast, where we dissect the good, the bad, and the ugly of your favorite films and film franchises. I am your host, Brett Parker. Joining me are my wonderful co-hosts. Wait a second. I see Dan, but we got a special guest. We got Heat Miser here with us today. Oh my God, Heat Miser, what's up? Welcome to the show.
It's so hot down here. Jeez.
I know, Dan, you must be sweating your ass off. You better turn on a fan or two. You got a lot of water with you.
Just sprayed your face.
Oh my God, I should have. Holy shit, that would have been great.
You know, Angela picked this movie, and she's not even here to talk about it. She literally called up Heat Miser and said, hey, you want to take my place? And now Heat Miser's here. And for all you audio listeners, you're missing out because you can visually see Heat Miser is here. Please go to the YouTube channel. Watch this. I'm not lying to you. I'm not lying to you.
For her makeup and such, give it a like.
Yes. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Give it a round of applause here.
I have felt like doing it more, so I'm like, why not?
Hell yeah. Why not? That's sure.
Yeah, touch me. Go burn yourself.
So, of course, Heat Miser is here because we're talking about The Year Without a Santa Claus, released in 1974, directed by Jules Bass and Arthur Rankin Jr. Of course, this is a Rankin-Bass film. Our second one we've covered on this show. 2 years ago, we covered Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and I've always said it is one of my favorite episodes of the show ever.
Absolutely.
And so we have a lot to live up to when it comes to talking about another Rankin-Bass film. But here we are. It was written by William Keenan, and it was based on the book The Year Without a Santa Claus by Phyllis McGinley. The wonderful voice cast of this movie, we have Shirley Booth as Mrs. Claus. We have the legendary Mickey Rooney as Santa Claus in his second appearance as Santa Claus. His first being Santa Claus is Coming to Town. We have Dick Shawn as Snow Miser. We have George S. Irving as Heat Miser. We have Bob McFadden as Jingle Bells, who is Elf Doctor. And then we have Bradley Bork, who is Jangle Bells. Oh, and the police officer. That's what that means. It doesn't mean that he was the Elf Doctor. He was also the voice of the Elf Doctor, who is a dick.
He is such a dick, dude.
We have Rhoda Mann as Mother Nature and Mrs. Thistlewhite. Ron Marshall as Mr. Thistlewhite and the mayor of Southtown. Colin Duffy as Ignatius Iggy Thistlewhite. Noel Magargle?
Gargle?
Sure. As the Blue Christmas Girl, and the Wee Winter Singers as the Children's Choir. So let's talk about our history with this movie, because we've all seen this. We've all had to have seen this movie, right? Like, this is a Rankin-Bass film.
Oh, yeah.
And we're all in our 30s. We grew up on this, right? So let's talk about our history with it. And, of course, Heat Miser, lead us off.
I've watched this movie so many times. It never gets old. Like, I know we're not supposed to say what we feel about it, but
screw it. Just do it. Come on.
It's an every year watch. We've watched it every year for how many years now?
Oh, fucking long time.
Yeah. Like,
I don't remember.
It's so great. Are you okay?
Yeah, don't just keep talking. I'm not reacting to you. I'm reacting to this beer I just opened. It's interesting.
It's aged well, isn't it?
Oh, sure. Well is probably not the word I would describe, but
it's aged something.
It's aged, yeah. Whoa. All right, keep going.
But I mean, we were all quoting it over and over. You know, I mean, I quote it throughout the year. So, like, it's just a staple.
Dan.
I will mention a story I probably mentioned on here not long ago. I actually talked to my mom about it not that long ago. And I was like, remember the year of that Santa Claus? She's like, oh, yeah, your dad loves that movie. He's like, why the fuck did I not know about that movie until I was in the 3rd grade? Like, I grew up watching these, Little Drummer Boy, which I don't care for that movie. I know people love that movie. I do not like it. We'll get it another day. But, like, Little Drummer Boy, Santa Claus is coming to town, of course, Rudolph, Frosty, all that shit. The Life and Times of Santa Claus, Jack Frost, all the other ones. But this motherfucker, like, I remember watching that shit, like, when I was little kid. Always remember Rudolph. But it wasn't until the 3rd grade and we were at school for Christmas that I remember seeing this. And I was like, I asked my mom, I was like, how did I not see this before? So she's like, I don't know. Your dad loves this movie. He always watched this movie. I was like, how did I not fucking know about it? Nobody talked about it. So, but yeah, that essentially since the 3rd grade, I have known about this movie and have watched it in some way, shape, or form. Pretty much, I'd say every year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same way. Oh, sorry.
Probably my second favorite Rankin-Bass.
Okay.
Christmas movie. I'm gonna say now, unless I'm forgetting one. But
yeah, I don't know if I could rank it right now. I'd have as we go along, I might be able to, or if we talk about more down the road. But we've only covered 2. But yeah, I'm the same way. I've seen this movie since I was little. It has been on TV every year since since it came out in 1974. Changing hands every like 20, 25 years. It would go to a different network, and currently it runs on TBS and TNT. And the craziest thing is when I was gonna go watch it, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to rent it because I don't own this, and I didn't want to buy it, or I didn't have the time to buy it. And so I know that didn't sound good.
no,
I didn't want to buy this movie. Fuck it.
Fuck this movie.
No, I just didn't have the time to buy it and get it and watch it before we did this. But TBS was literally playing it at that moment. Like we were eating dinner and I was like, all right, we're going to watch Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Of course, this is the great thing about covering movies like this is that my entire family can be involved by,
Yes.
we can all sit down and enjoy this movie. And it was really accessible. It's really easy to find. Like it's always playing. I think it's probably playing right now on either TBS or TNT. It's a classic. I mean, these Rankin-Bass movies are just like ingrained into my memories of, growing up around Christmas time, and my mom always having whatever channel it was on. They would play a marathon of them. They would literally play all of them, like back to back to back.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when we talked about Rudolph, it's so funny to actually sit down and watch it as an adult, even though I've seen it as an adult many, many times. But to watch it again for this show was interesting, especially when I'm taking notes and picking up on things. I'm like, I don't remember this, or I don't remember it being this way. And it's great. And I can't wait to talk about it when we get into the plot. So as I stated, it was released December 10th, 1974. It started out on ABC, and then it moved over to Freeform, which used to be ABC Family, and because it used to be part of their 25 Days of Christmas block. And then in 2018, AMC, the American Movie Classic, or the AMC channel, airs it. And then Warner Brothers is the one who kind of they don't own it, but they distribute it now because they're the ones that own TBS and TNT, and you can also get it in like the Rankin-Bass Productions library. Like I said, very accessible. It's also can also get it on VHS and DVD. It was first released on VHS in 1991 and released on DVD in 2000, and then on Blu-ray in 2010. And it was
Where's
the
our
first
4K, guys,
right? There are 4K versions of some of the other Rankin-Bass films. This was the first Rankin-Bass film to get released on Blu-ray back in 2010.
Yeah, we have this one and then the other box set on Blu-ray. I gotta get Rudolph on 4K. I mean, I have to.
So they have I know a lot of sites that I was looking at, they have a set where it's like Rudolph, it's Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and the Little Drummer Boy. But it doesn't have this one included. And I'm like, oh, come on.
It's never in the sets.
Can we
Blu-ray was the
can we
same
just get
way.
rid of Little like I don't hate Little Drummer Boy. It's not one I was keen on watching growing up. I think it was just too it was too much for me. Like I was just like it's a slog to get through.
Yeah.
Leans too hard on the religious angle, or just boring?
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I was a kid, I went to church and stuff, so it wasn't. I don't think it was that angle. I've always been interested in like religious, like movies and stuff like that. I don't want to go too deep into my own religious background, but it was always interesting to watch movies like that. But that movie is a slog to get through, and it's only an hour long, as are all of these. So.
I remember watching the old VHS of that, and I have not seen any version since the VHS version I watched as a kid. That movie was always so fucking dark.
Yeah.
Like the filming, the video quality, it was just dark as shit all the time.
Yeah, it's definitely one I haven't seen it in years. That's one I probably haven't seen since I was a teenager, maybe. And it was probably when I started watching and went, I'm gonna watch Rudolph for the 12,000th time.
I was about to say, what's Rudolph or the Grinch or something?
Yeah. But yeah,
you're Fahu Doris than fucking beat my drum here, bro. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
That just sounds like dang it.
With a masturbation joke?
The same, just different terminology for the same thing.
I'd like to Fahu her Doris than beat my own drum. Christmas, ladies and gentlemen.
Isn't that what happens on Christmas?
I don't know. I guess.
That's why there's a lot of summer babies.
I guess. I just thought everybody got married in October and they had babies and shit, so that's why we had summer babies.
Sure.
I do have a legitimate question though.
Sure. Go ahead.
For everybody here before we roll into the movie. What is your favorite? I asked, we talked about this. I said I was going to ask us this week, and if we answered it last week, I'm sorry, but what is your favorite actor who plays Santa Claus? Like when you think of Santa Claus, what's the actor that comes to mind?
Yeah.
We did it off air.
Oh.
That's right. We did. I was like, I do remember that question being asked, but I don't remember when it was asked.
Yeah, it was post recording because it wasn't relevant yet. We were not into the Christmas stuff, so I said I was going to try to save it till next week. And if it is on the actual episode, I'm sorry you're getting it twice. Tough shit. Sorry. Anyway,
34 years later, there was a sequel called The Miser
you didn't
Brothers.
answer my question. I was asking you guys.
Oh, you're asking me?
No, not just the audience. No, you guys,
right.
The audience can gladly respond.
I love Tim Allen's Santa Claus. I think that was the movie I watched the most. I was a huge Home Improvement fan. Why are you laughing at me? You asked the question. Don't laugh at my choice.
I'm not laughing at your choice. I'm thinking of the movie, and I'm thinking of the Oscar Mayer Wiener whistle.
Yes,
it's a great movie. I like that movie, and it's a great choice.
Yeah, I mean, I was a huge Home Improvement fan, so I remember seeing. I think I saw the movie after watching some of the show, and I was like, "Oh shit, Tim Taylor's Santa Claus? Hell yeah!" And I fell in love with it. I love that movie. I watch it. That's a yearly watch. I have it on VHS back there. Actually, I had the first two on VHS back there.
I think I've only ever seen the first Santa Claus.
The first two are good. The third one is a movie, and then there's a show. There's a show called The Santa Clauses, which is on Disney Plus right now.
A sitcom?
It's not a sitcom. It's just a episodic show.
Oh, okay.
Based in that universe.
Okay.
Tim Allen's back as Santa. We got pretty much all the original cast. Well, some of them. Just him and his wife, I think, are the only ones.
Not even the main elf dude? Come on.
Oh, Bernard?
Bernard
was only in the first one. He didn't show up in the sequels.
Yeah, I was so sad that he didn't.
I think he was busy doing other stuff. But we're not talking about the Santa Claus right now. Let's answer the question, and then we can move on to...
I already said mine, Tim Allen.
Oh, so it's Tim Allen.
Because I said Tim the Toolman Taylor when you asked.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would say before we get to your pick, I would say like my another great pick for me, especially one that I grew up with loving, is probably like Richard Attenborough's in Miracle on 34th Street. It was a remake, but of course it's Richard Attenborough. He's a fucking legend. And him as Santa Claus just made so much sense. And then another honorable mention will be Kurt Russell in The Christmas Chronicles, because Kurt Russell's Santa. What? Okay. Give me more.
Do you think he became Santa Claus after the events of the thing?
Yeah, that's how he got his
Like, he just-
power.
Yeah,
He
just
fought
stumbled
off the
upon-
thing,
okay.
but he gained power and became
Yeah,
Santa.
so he's just like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be Santa.
Wrong poll, but
Another-
it's okay.
Well, another one that played Santa that I was like, what? Bryan Cranston played Santa Claus.
In
Was
what?
he-
I can't figure it out. Like I'm searching
Did he
through
voice it a line?
I don't know.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, no offense to the guy. I mean, probably could do it, but
I'm
I'm gonna say
pulling it up. I'm
Kramer
trying
from
to find-
Seinfeld. He dressed up as Santa, and
okay.
no, I mean it's
Do you need me to?
great episode, but
No, you keep going. I'm
Okay.
I'm looking.
all right, Dan.
Okay.
It's
Well,
taking a little bit.
No,
for
you're
me to
fine.
find it.
I'm actually gonna say. Oh my God, it's blanked.
Good job.
I was sitting there. I
This
was
is your
all ready.
question.
I was all ready. I was all loaded, and then it
And
was
then
gone.
I got you
It's,
with Bryan Cranston.
Mickey Rooney.
Oh, okay.
100%. Like
Yeah.
I just like I know like
Iconic.
he was like on screen as said character, but it's just these movies. Like I know the asshole Santa from Rudolph is a classic for me, but I don't know who the fuck that guy is.
That's
but I was
always what he's gonna be called. He's just the asshole Santa from Rudolph.
Yeah,
Fuck that guy.
absolutely. I think the Rudolph is like Doctor Who. Like he just regenerates every year as a different personality. He's still Santa, but he's like a different personality. That's how we could connect all these Christmas movies together. So I just I don't know. I've always loved him. He's always like a jolly dude, even when he's playing like the older or younger Santa Claus. And I always think of that episode where they made were filming. It was of The Simpsons. They were filming the Radioactive Man movie. The Fallout Boy,
Yeah.
And Milhouse didn't want to play Fallout Boy anymore, and Mickey Rooney was like, "I could do that role, Jiminy Jillikers." It's so good. Mickey Rooney just randomly shows up in his episode on a fucking helicopter. But yes, that's my answer.
So he was in a movie called 'Twas the Night, and it's him and his nephew steal Santa's sleigh for a joyride.
That's
so
illegal.
He plays Santa Claus.
That's illegal. It's like what he did
But it's
before
like,
Breaking
what?
Bad. He was
Yeah.
stealing slaves.
Still slaves. And that turned into
man.
Anyway, go ahead. I just
drugs.
figured to make it for a good topic.
Yeah, so there was a sequel 34 years later called The Miser Brothers Christmas.
Hell yeah.
And
I'm sure it sucks.
George S. Irving, who voiced Heat Miser in this, came back and voiced him in the sequel. He's probably like the only one alive at that time. So
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
yeah,
So I
'Cause-
think everybody.
because Mickey Rooney died in 2014. This was the last performance from Shirley Booth, who did the voice of Mrs.
Yeah,
Claus.
she died in
Mhm.
92.
No.
Dick Shawn died in 1987.
Dick Shawn.
He was the one who does Snow Miser. I love his voice. His voice is probably my favorite
Yeah.
of all the characters.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
He had Angela had the lady who played Mrs. Claus. I can't think of her name.
Shirley
Booth.
Booth.
And there's a movie on here she did called "Come Back, Little Sheba," and I was like, "Come back, little Beth Sheba, we need you." damn you, the Conjuring, damn you. It's like a kid's version.
We need to save that poster and just Photoshop Beth Sheba's face.
Yeah, oh,
Please.
please.
Please. Anyway,
Look,
Oh no.
here.
Oh no.
You can put it right there.
dude,
right
you
in the middle.
could.
Right in the middle.
Anyway, carry on.
Oh,
I'm
there's
sorry. I'm
no,
distracted.
oh, it's a
but-
play. Oh.
good enough.
That's great. There's not a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I was able to find on this one. Just some stuff that like pops up in the movie that I'll talk about when we get there.
It's dope as fuck. That's all you need to know.
So let's start with the plot.
Santa
So-
Claus ain't coming this year.
No. Mrs. Claus tells the story about how Santa Claus, he woke up sick and he's like, no one believes anymore. Actually, no, it's the fucking doctor who comes in to check on him. He's like, yeah, no one believes you anymore, Santa. They don't like Christmas.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's anybody out there that doesn't believe in you anymore. Oh,
He's-
by the way, Merry Christmas.
He's the guy who does the voice of the head elf in Rudolph.
It's the same dude.
He's the same guy. You could definitely
Why?
tell by the voice.
How come we didn't say anything about being an elf practice?
Well, he's not the same character. He's just voiced by the same guy.
Why was you at elf practice?
Saracen Ridley, they both said that. They're like, is that this movie?
Said soon. It's not yet. It's not time. After Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
then we watch regular Christmas movies.
Well, I guess I was wrong. I guess he didn't do the voice of in Rudolph. He sounds exactly like the guy who did the voice of the head elf.
Right.
But
Well, I mean, let's just say it's in the same continuity.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But it's hilarious. I just love how he is just like, I don't remember him being this just blunt with Santa. It's just like, no, don't be surprised if anyone still believed in you, Santa. Christmas is over. Screw Christmas. Oh yeah, have a Merry Christmas.
It's
Damn, man.
And by the way,
the guy, the Christmas guy, just rolls up and is negative as piss to him.
yeah.
So
And then, okay.
so Santa's like, well, if that's the case, I'm gonna take a holiday. I'm gonna take a vacation, and I'm gonna cancel Christmas. And Mrs. Claus is like, what? And then she sings a song about it.
Tell us
It was a year.
one of the lines I remember so much is tell the news, tell the papers, I'm much too tired for Christmas capers.
Yeah.
And like I love the rhyming in this. It's not all the time, but
It was when he's talking to the elf.
I love it.
He's talking to the elf on the phone, and that's what he says. I'm like, I would, if I was the elf, I'd be like, "You read me a poem? Like what? What's
Are we getting laid off?
is this a furlough? Like oh, no.
What's going on? We're still getting paid, right?
Well, even then, Ridley's like,
We still get my benefits.
why can't Mrs. Claus do it?
Exactly. Lazy ass, get out there.
Don't worry, we go into that at some point.
I know.
So the elves, they're dealing with the chaos of Christmas being canceled. They're just like, what do we do with our hands?
Oh, I can think of something you could do with your hands.
You have
I do it all the time.
you meet Jingle and Jangle. Jingle is Jingle's like the more like he's the smart one, and Jangle's kind of the derpy one.
Yeah, Jangle bells.
This is where Jingle's on the phone talking to Mrs. Claus. I was like, "Yes, Mrs. Claus. Okay, Mrs. Claus. Of course, Mrs. Claus." And then he hangs up. Yeah, and then he hangs up, and Jangle goes, "Who is that?"
Dumbass.
Were you not listening the whole time?
I believe the humor was lost on our kids, and I was like, "You're killing me, guys!" Like,
oh god. So
I'm just surprised they stayed the whole time and watched it.
I'm glad they did. Usually, like,
to be honest, I don't know. I think it was just me and my wife. Me and my wife were like singing all the songs. And actually, no, my daughter was there too, and my youngest was there, but he doesn't really pay attention. So Mrs. Claus comes up with the idea to why doesn't she just take over? Why doesn't she just take over Santa's job, and she could do it, but
the whole empire.
Yeah, so she puts on the suit, she puts on the boots, she sings the song about how she could be Santa Claus.
What if
and
she's
then
going to murder him and take his place?
Well,
Make a patriarchy?
but there's a line in her song that says that she's been dreaming of this for years.
She's going to off him!
She wants him to be sick.
Wait, but hold on.
Is this the mom from The Sixth Sense who was poisoning her daughter with the soap? Like,
probably.
God damn.
Like, here, Santa, have some
Santa,
medicine. She's just
have
been
some
dumping
more,
antifreeze.
Santa.
I mean, she literally pulls a pillow off of their bed, and he doesn't move.
No.
And she's singing. Yeah, she's singing and making all this noise, and he hears nothing. So what did she give him? She conspired with the doctor.
I want this version of the movie. I want this version of the movie.
Why do we do this to these beloved movies? Why do we do this?
I don't know.
Andrew's like, he just wanted him. She wanted to smother him for years.
Has she been having an affair with the doctor the whole time?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Now we're going too far.
Okay, so I pointed this out. I was like, he's laying in their bed and has one. There's only enough room for him in this bed.
Well,
Are they not sleeping in the same room?
Yeah, they're probably old school. Technically, so supposedly this takes place between like the late 1800s and the early 1900s, based on, I think, the way that Southtown looks. So it most likely could be that way. But maybe it just was harder to.
In the same room.
Well, also it could have. Yeah, they probably did that because it would have been scandalous if they had the beds together. And they're like, oh, Mrs. Claus and Mr. Claus sleeping together in the same bed. Oh no. That's bad.
Well, they got to be separate. They just can't push those
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
They did it in I Love Lucy. They slept in separate beds, and they had the
Yeah, well,
the.
this is made for children.
I know. I watched I Love Lucy when I was.
So, of course, Mrs. Claus, she does this whole song, and then Jingle and Jangle show up, and she's like, I have a great idea. I'm going to go in Santa's place. And they're just like, what? And she's like, okay, never mind. We'll go to plan B. I was like, damn, you just changed your mind that quick? They literally just react to you wanting to be Santa for a day, and you're just like, nah.
One of the lines from the song, she talks about worried about her curly hair or some of the curls from her hair. It's like, don't worry, I'll only let him see me from the back. And I instantly got a shot of that gif of the dude standing behind a tree, like, like licking his lips and shit.
Oh, no.
Looking at Mrs. Claus's back end. Somebody's gonna like it.
There's also a shot in the during the song where it's her hopping in Santa's sleigh and flying off without reindeer, and I went, whoa, how is that working?
She's predicted Teslas. It's like self-driving sleigh.
She's literally proving Santa wrong. Like, I can do this without the deer.
Yeah.
The deer are just a formality at this point.
I mean, these poor deer.
So, because they talk her out of being Santa, even though they really don't, she's like,
Yeah.
well, you need to go to the village, or you just need to go talk to the peoples and try to get their spirits up and try to get them to believe in Santa again. And they're like, okay. And they're like, here, take this little deer, this little baby deer. This is Vixen. And I need you two to ride this little baby deer to a town. Okay, cool.
Think of it like reverse Freddy Krueger. Like, you want people to know about Santa Claus.
Where's Mark when you need him from Freddy vs. Jason? Where is he?
I was giving everybody hypnosil. You can't remember Santa Claus.
He's just running down the hallway of his high school like, Santa Claus! Santa Claus!
I know about Santa Claus.
But no,
His name is Saint Nick. What? I'm sorry.
listen, later on, I'm like, what the hell?
Oh, God.
No. But they both get put on Vixen, and Vixen's legs are just like shaking.
Yeah, exactly. This is animal abuse, Mrs. Claus. What the fuck? She's like, Jangle's not smart enough to know. He's just like, okay, dear.
Yeah.
She's like, just go, and it's like, just sends them off.
Yeah,
they can just land in a war zone for all you know.
Which they pretty much do. So
They could go land with Bumble.
Oh yeah.
And
I could. Well, this could take place around the start of World War I, technically.
Yeah.
Just don't go to
maybe.
Europe right now.
So Santa, he's getting really comfortable with the fact that he doesn't have to go out on Christmas. But he's very suspicious of Mrs. Claus. She's being really sketchy. She's being very cryptic about things, and then she upright just tells him the plan about how she sent Jingle and Jangle out with Vixen, and he does not give a shit about the elves. He's just worried about Vixen. He's like, that deer is a baby. What are you doing?
Yeah.
He said, what about Jingle and Jangle? So, I can conscript more of them.
Yeah.
Deer can't be replaced.
The cloning machine is still working.
Yes.
I could create more elves when I need them. So he gets out of bed and he's like, I gotta go save them because they're gonna run into Snow and Heat Miser. They're brothers who are just always fighting with each other. They're gonna get caught in the middle. It's gonna be a disaster. So he goes out, he flies out with Dasher. That's his deer, a little bit bigger. Of course, gotta support Santa. So this is where you get the cloud scene where Heat Miser's on one and Snow Miser's on the other, and they're like, they got their little minions that all look like them, and they're just shooting things at each other. And then they see Vixen with Jingle and Jangle flying over, and they're just like, and Heat Miser's like, hit him with the heat beam. And,
what is that?
And I love it though. Knocks Jingle and Jangle off. Vixen just sits there like
that's some shit.
Oh, you want me to go catch them? Which she does. But I do like the fact it's like, what would have happened? Like they're just falling. Like this is terrifying. They're just like, ah, because they fell off.
It's like, I'm just going home.
Yeah,
they just fall and explode into peppermint and shit.
It's like I just got the relief of not having these two things on my back. So they land in a town called Southtown. And instantly get arrested. Well, not instantly get arrested. They get a ticket. They're, walking down the main street and a cop comes up and gives them a ticket for riding whatever that is. I love that's how he says the ticket.
The wrong way down a one-way street or something.
Yeah. There's
Everybody
no
knows
one out of
there's no one-ways in the South. I'm going to tell you right now. They don't exist.
Well, yeah, also there's just no one on this. There's just no one out. They're the only one on the street other than the cop. So they are like, oh, well, we can't walk around with Vixen looking like this, so we're going to throw Jangle's stanky socks on her antlers to make her look like a dog. And then we're going to throw a
No
leash
wonder
on
she
her.
gets sick.
Yeah, no wonder she just says, fuck this.
She's like, I can't breathe.
And then they run into a very grumpy lady in there, and a cat chases them up a tree.
Why she get so pissed about it? Like, you just can't be out with your fucking dog?
No, it's just this
Quote,
movie is just
unquote?
showing that everybody in the South are grumpy motherfuckers.
Apparently so.
I'm offended by that. Thank you.
They shit on most of the people.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
But I am grumpy.
You're not that grumpy. You're not this lady.
No, I'm not that. No, I can be nice.
Like when someone walks up to you and just like asks a question and you're just like, what do you want? And you're like, sorry. I'm just going to move on. I mean, some people might be.
Me answering the phone at work. I'm like, what?
Mm.
Only when I know it's somebody in the store, not
yeah.
customer.
I always do the thing where it's like, I just answer him like, Taco Bell.
There you go.
We had one guy that worked for us. Every time he would answer the phone at night, it would be something like somebody's funeral home. You stab him, we slap him.
Yeah.
It was great. Like he would always come up with something real quick like that.
City Morgue, my remain speaking.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I miss that.
Yeah.
So Santa talks to the same cop. The cop tells him everything that happened.
Bunch of lawbreakers.
Dasher's hiding in the bushes because he's afraid that he could get taken away. Jingle and Jangle meet up with some kids playing in the street, and they're all just like, yeah, we don't believe in Santa. That's silly. That's for kids. And I would have been like, you are a kid. You look like you're 7. And
I don't think we're ever given a name, are we? Like an age for these guys, are we?
No.
Even Iggy, I don't think we're even given an age for.
I'm guessing like 10, probably. Vixen gets taken away by the dog, by the animal control people or guy.
Canine Gestapo. Got it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Catcher.
The dog catcher. Yes. The scary dog catcher. And yeah, this Jingle and Jangle, they're talking to the kids about like, hey, don't you care that Christmas is canceled? And they're like, nah, we don't care because we don't believe anymore. And it's like, oh, that's great. Awesome. And then, yeah, Vixen gets taken away and they're like, well, okay, bye, kids. But then they run into the kid they were talking to. His name is Ignatius Thistlewhite. But everybody calls him Iggy.
Yep.
And they're like, hey, we need your help. Our dog got taken and we need you. And he's like, okay, but why don't you come inside and meet my parents? And they're like, okay. Oh, no, this was Santa meets Iggy, not Jingle and Jangle. Jingle and Jangle ran off. Yeah.
Random
Scratch
festively
that.
dressed
Scratch
old
that
man.
from the record. No, Santa meets Ignatius Thistlewhite.
No,
Everybody calls
Claus.
him Iggy. Well, he goes as Claus. It's so funny though, because he meets him. He goes inside, meets the parents. He's not feeling well, so the mom gives him some stuff to drink. Then they're talking about who believes in Santa and who doesn't, and Iggy doesn't. The dad does, and then the dad goes into a song.
Yeah.
And you're too old for Santa Claus.
I believe in Santa Claus. Yeah.
Well, I was always prepared for him to introduce himself as Sinterklaas or whatever it is in German.
Yeah.
No, why don't you just say my name is Nick? It doesn't have to be Saint Nick. It doesn't have to be Chris Kringle.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be, or it could be Chris. Like, just say a name. It's like, come on, man. Well, the thing is,
name.
But like, we go through the song, and at the end of the song, it's the dad was in the same boat where he stopped believing, but then Santa found out and fucking went to his house and
What, motherfucker?
and stood next to his bed and was like, "This is what would happen if you don't believe in me anymore." And I went,
And dropped his pants.
No, Dan. No. Too far, Dan.
No, isn't it weird? He just shows him
It's so
his
weird.
You don't believe me, huh?
You don't believe me? Well, I'm going to come to your house and I'm going to stand next to your bed and I'm going to sing you a little song. You better believe. And he's like, I swear, Santa, I believe. Please leave.
Santa bringing in his mob connections
Oh
here.
my God. You got like the elves are like creeping. Like, they're like fucking Krampus's minions. Jesus Christ.
Please. I need that.
Told you we need a horror version of this film. Needs to happen.
So this terrifying song makes Icky believe again, at least for now. Vixen's at the dog pound. She looks awful. Santa leaves Iggy's house, gives at the beginning of this, gives a fake name, and then leaves the house and just flies away. So they go, I knew it was Santa. Damn it.
I knew there was something strange about that man. Yes.
I just like, we had to go through this whole thing of him trying to hide his identity to the point where he's just like, hops on Dasher, just like, dash away. Just flies away.
It's like if Batman just be like, fuck this. Like while visiting a friend's house. Like, I've got to change. Like, a bunch of elves come by later and fucking mind flash him like MIB. Erase their memory.
You got Elf Will Smith and Elf Tommy Lee
Yes.
Jones coming out.
Please.
They have to come in on their little jetpacks.
Oh,
Yes!
so good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And they have the tinsel to like break into their house.
Oh, now we're going into the Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
Why
not?
not?
Let's connect all of them.
Oh my God.
Connected somehow, right?
So
We can make it.
Santa's got to go, or no, Jingle and Jangle and Iggy go to the mayor. And the mayor just laughs it off. He thinks it's a joke.
We got a snowball chance in Southtown.
Yep. And to be honest, I never could put two and two together. The fact that this took place in the United States. The only reason I figured that out is there was an American flag behind him at the mayor office. And then, of course, the song that he sings is what is like a snowfall in Dixie or something like that.
Gonna use that word no more. Apparently, you can't.
It's gonna
use the
snow
term
right here in
Dixie.
Dixie. Yeah. Well, that's the name of the song that's in this movie. So
I know.
You just
I don't
gotta deal
understand No, I don't get it. But anyway, whatever.
So he makes a deal where it's like, if you can make it snow here for a day on Christmas, then we'll free Vixen. And they're like, okay. I don't know how that's going to work, but sure. So Santa, and he's like, oh yeah, and Santa will get his own holiday. I'm like, doesn't he already have one?
Yeah.
It's called Christmas. What, just because you don't get
Double
snow here in the
Christmas?
South, like Christmas is just like, who cares?
Right? Well, so
Apparently he
maybe
needs another holiday.
like it's like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day is like, Christian Jesus Christmas stuff, and then like the 26th is like Santa's day off, and like they just send stuff to him.
Yeah, that
don't
could be
know.
true. So the mayor sings about winter in Dixie. We gotta go through that. He's, I love the stop motion in these movies. They're so good.
Oh, they're so fun.
They're just
so
their
fun.
little
That's where
legs.
Christmas comes from.
Is that
The country song.
fuck that song? This song's way better. I can tell you right now without even listening to it.
All the songs in this movie are great.
They are.
Santa ends up getting Vixen. Ends up paying the fine, which is he's able to get Vixen because that's why Jingle and Jangle couldn't get her before.
Currency? What's that?
The fact that this very sick man is just able to throw this reindeer on his shoulders, hop on another reindeer, and just fly away.
Strong as fuck, dude.
Yep. The subtlety is not there for Santa.
That's why Dasher's the first one said in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah,
I guess.
and it's one of those things where I wish they made it more tense. Like, will Vixen die? He's got to get her back to the North Pole. It's like epic. It's like, what the fuck?
This summer, it's winter and it's hot. So stupid. I'm sorry.
The death of Vixen. What?
Yeah.
But Santa is going to make sure she doesn't die. He's going to get back there as soon as he can from the south of the United States all the way to the North Pole and lickety split. Does he have portals? Does he go through portals? We'll never know.
Probably.
I just thought of a catchphrase. Remember Evil dies tonight.
Oh God.
The reindeer flies tonight. Please. That's our movie. It's about saving the reindeer's life. And it needs to be so okay. We had like Violent Night happen, right? We had that whole thing which was a fun movie. Why don't we have something similar, like in that vein, or it could be a thriller or whatever, but it's got to do with the reindeer. Like the reindeer gets sick, the reindeer get poisoned. Like, I've got the antidote, Santa. Bring me the toys, or the reindeer dies by the end of the night, or some shit like that. You know, that's Reindeer Fly Tonight.
Oh my God. I just love the fact that Jingle and Jangle are just like, oh, we got to call Mrs. Claus. How do they call her? They got some like magic, like
They have a cell phone.
just like rub their hand and the hologram pops up on their hand. Mrs. Claus, we need you. Because she comes and picks them up and they go visit Snow Miser first. And Snow Miser's not as much of a dick as Heat Miser because he likes the Clauses because Santa is a big advocate of it being cold.
Yep.
So he's always a fan. But of course, we get the whole thing where him and his brother are not, they don't see eye to eye because one is cold and one is hot. So that usually, opposites don't attract.
I'm sorry. I thought that was a height joke. Carry on.
They're step siblings, so they don't get
That is
along.
true. Yeah.
So
Mother Nature's out there, got multiple baby daddies.
You were saying that because Mother was like, you best. Like,
Yeah.
So the designs,
The golden child.
the designs behind Heat Miser and Snow Miser were mostly based on the actors voicing them. But also you could tell that the design of of Heat Miser is very, very close to Burgermeister from Santa Claus is Coming to Town. I don't know if it's the same exact model, but you could definitely, it's mostly the face. Like a lot of the bigger characters in these Rankin-Bass movies, they have like the huge jowls.
Yes,
and the underbite. It's so great because these movies don't have good lip syncing because it's this is early claymation. It's so great when there's like their mouths are just moving and words are coming out, but it doesn't make any
good.
Oh, so we get the Snow Miser song. I missed a white Christmas. I missed a snow. I missed a icicle. I missed a 10 below. Okay, that's all I can do. Actually, I have no idea what the status of those songs are. That's all I'm gonna sing for you.
This is fine. It's the best two songs in the fucking.
They're so good.
Since they're from the 70s, that
they're still probably copywritten.
Yeah, somebody probably is.
They ask for snowfall in Southtown. He's like, you're gonna have to talk to my brother because he's the one, he owns that territory. And they're like, okay. But they're
like, we need snow. And he's like, okay.
I was like,
matter. He's like, all right.
In Southtown. Hold up. Don't even hit that switch. I was just a control panel to make places snow. It's not just magic.
Pull the lever, Chrome.
Yep.
I love my favorite parts of like seeing Heat Miser and Snow Miser are their little minions that are just miniature versions of them. They're so good. They're so good.
I think they copied tried to copy Santa's like cloning thing, but it's very imperfect and it's just copies of themselves.
Yeah.
Smaller copies of themselves.
Yeah.
And he's got like a on his panel he's got like an airstrike button to fuck with his brother every once in a while.
Is that okay? So that's why Snow Miser's so skinny. They had to take chunks of him to make his clones.
Yeah, probably.
But then Heat Miser got gypped and got.
Oh, it took from his height.
Yeah, took from his height.
I thought they just crafted him from his shit because he poops a lot. I'm assuming it's like I thought it was I don't know. Anyway, I think it just continues the trend because Jingle Bells and Jangle Bells the same fucking way. It's always a chubby dude and a tall guy.
They're supposed to be like modeled after
each
one
other.
Or the other.
Yeah. So Jingle and Snow Miser are modeled after each other, and then Jangle and Heat Miser. But I don't really see it because Heat Miser and Jangle don't look the same.
Mm-mm.
But I don't know. That's just what I read.
I guess with being
It's probably the height. Yeah.
portlier, I suppose.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah. So as long as Heat Miser approves the snowfall, then he can do it. But until then, he needs to get approved. So then they go visit Heat Miser, and we get Heat Miser's song,
Which is slightly like at a different speed, isn't it? It's like slightly slowed down or
It's
something.
slowed
different.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does the Heat Miser one go? Heat Miser.
I missed your green Christmas. I missed your sun. I missed your heat blister. I missed your 101.
Yes, and I love during the song, they Snow Miser blows the was it
-10,
minus 10, and then Heat Miser does the 101 in the smoke.
Yep.
So the brothers,
I love both the songs.
They're the best songs of the fucking
so
show.
good.
They're really good.
They are iconic. Those are songs
Yes.
that I sing to myself just randomly because they're just so good. The Snow one is my favorite one. That's the one that always sticks in my head. So the brothers won't agree. I like how they're on like a voice call.
Yeah.
He just and Snow
Speaking of
Miser,
cell phones.
Snow Miser is on the screen and is
Zoom
still able
calling.
to use his powers through the screen because Heat
Yeah.
Miser uses his heat and Snow Miser uses the cold, and they hit each other. And I'm like, how does it work through the screen? Whatever.
They're Zoom
Because he
calling
gave him a
each
call
other.
on the hotline.
Yeah, he sure did. That's great.
Mhm.
I just love how nothing phases Mrs. Claus. She's just like, all right.
Nope.
Damn,
You two are a
I
bunch
have
of
Hotline
babies.
Bling stuck in my head.
What now?
Damn it.
What song?
Hotline Bling.
Oh, really?
Uh,
With who's singing it? Is it Heat Miser singing it?
So Mrs. Claus, she's sick of this shit. She's sick of the fighting and the arguments between them. So she's like, I'm going to go over your head. I'm going to talk to your mom. And they're like, no, not our
Oh.
mom. And
And I'm
You
wondering why
wouldn't
she didn't go
dare.
there in the first place.
Yeah, I think
knowing
she
that
was-
They're fighting.
I think she was just trying to be respectful of the two, because,
Just-
of course, Snow Miser has respect for her in Santa. Heat Miser, not so much, but, just maybe a little bit of respect. But the fact is, she probably realized that it wasn't going to work. And so she's like, I always had that in my back pocket. Like, I'm just going to go talk to your mom. And they're afraid of their mom. They'll do whatever for their mom. And you find out their mom is Mother Nature.
Makes me wonder who their dad is. Dads are.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
One has to be Father Christmas.
Yeah.
One of them could be Father Time as well.
True.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, they're
saying.
stepbrothers or half brothers, so they have to have different dads.
Can we do the whole movie of Step Brothers with those two?
Yes.
Dude, that's an idea.
100%.
That's an idea.
Oh, somebody, please. If this hasn't happened already, this needs to happen.
Yes,
Immediately.
Yes, please.
Oh my God. So Mother Nature sets them straight. You good?
Of course. Yeah, yeah.
She's like,
I'm just flashes.
Yeah, so Mother Nature sets them straight. Heat Miser agrees, or the whole plan was Snow Miser gets to get a day where Southtown gets snow, and Heat Miser gets one hot spring day for the North Pole.
that sounds really dangerous, but sure.
Yes.
I
It
mean,
just destroys the earth. It just melts all the ice caps and just destroys the earth in a way that it's probably going to happen in real life. Just
but he
takes a
has
lot.
to put
longer.
he has to put all the reindeer up.
Well, he's like, let's put
Yeah,
a
because the
spring
reindeer
day.
gets
Just
sick, right?
Yeah.
He's like, let's make it a spring day, but she didn't say where at. It's like 95 degrees.
That's
What
not
the fuck?
spring. Oh
Wait a
man.
minute. We discussed this summer. That is not allowed. Spring allowed.
What if it's spring in, like, I don't know, Death Valley?
Yeah.
So
Arizona. Wait a minute.
So yeah, Southtown gets snow for the very first time, and I love when the mayor gets a call from his wife, and he's like, "And wear what? Make sure to wear what on the way home? Galoshes? For one,
What?
if he lives in the South that never snows, why would he have anything to prep him for snow? Like the wife did he magically have winter gear? The wife's like, make sure you
stored
wear all
away
these
for a
things.
special occasion.
It's just
I have
hilarious.
no idea. That's a
man.
great question.
So, yeah, everything is all dandy. Everybody believes, but Santa's still not doing Christmas. So the kids of the world gather up gifts and they send them all up to the North Pole for Santa. I love when they show different parts of the North Pole and they show the cave with the reindeer, and there's one in the back with his eyes, no joke. Like they forgot to move him to look like he's sleeping. He just looks cracked out. He's like, all the rest of the deer are sleeping, and you just got one in the back like, bro, I've seen some shit.
He's freaking out like, what do we do? We're not delivering toys. What the fuck is our existence for anymore?
It's the greatest.
I could see forever.
I had to pause it.
He started huffing glue from the packaging
What happened
department.
to this deer, man?
Oh my god.
He's seen things.
Oh my god. This is when we get I'll Have a Blue Christmas, which every time I hear this song, I just think of Elvis's version of the song. It literally pops in my head every time. I started singing it to my daughter in Elvis's voice. She did not like it. I thought I sound pretty good.
I was thinking that song too because my dad's an Elvis fan.
Yeah.
So that's usually the version I think of. But then I think of I literally just blanked his name. Fucking played the Warren dude in the Conjuring.
Patrick Wilson.
Yeah.
Patrick Wilson. Just have him sing it. It's fine.
Yeah, that's good.
He's got it.
I mean, listen, he just needs to put out an Elvis cover album. He could do it.
Mm.
So Santa decides, you know what? I'm going to go out and do this Christmas thing. I can't let the kids down. This girl's literally crying and sending me pictures of herself crying. Like, I got to do it. So
selfies.
He does that.
Leave Friendly alone.
Yeah. He goes. So he goes and delivers all the gifts, and everyone's got their gifts. Everybody's going. Iggy does some fucking crazy gymnastics routine to get to his gifts. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He just like flips, man, to get to his bike, and then rides his bike around the biggest living room possible, I guess.
By golly, does he believe?
Yeah,
it's
he does.
just a living room. They have one one single room, and it's just a living room.
Oh,
well, if it takes place like it does, it's probably not too far off.
Yeah,
if it is in the late 1800s, early 1900s.
That's true.
Yeah. So this is when we get there'll be a year. There will be no year without a Santa Claus. So it's kind of the reverse of the song we got earlier. Everything is A-okay. And that's the end of the year without a Santa Claus. What are our final thoughts on this movie?
I want the sequel to be the year without Santa Claus, and that'd be the murder one.
That's the dark version. That's the
direct
version.
Okay, yeah.
They all have to figure out who killed Santa.
And what's wrong with that cracked out reindeer in the fucking back shot in that one shot? I want to know. The world needs to know.
He's seen things.
He's
seen the future.
I will find that image and I will make sure to put it in this video because it is hilarious.
Oh, I got it. Go ahead.
But see, I called one of the trivia on IMDb. I called it the Charlie Chaplin.
Yes, there was a Charlie Chaplin figure.
I was like, how did I not notice that until this time watching it?
Well, I wonder with the rain. I've never seen the Charlie Chaplin. You probably pointed it out to me, and I don't remember.
I did. I was like, while we were eating dinner.
I think the reindeer is bugged out. I'm sorry. The reindeer is bugged out. This is my theory. This is a reindeer we don't know. It's not one of the core reindeer. This is the one that used to lead. Was the lead reindeer
before Rudolph?
No, not before Rudolph. This is prior to Rudolph. This is before Dasher took over as the main one. Because Dasher's the first one listed. He has to be the main one. That's Santa's reindeer, right? Dasher drugged the motherfucker's food and it just completely did permanent damage to him. And he's just
was it Dasher or was it Mrs. Claus? Because she's
been experimenting to find the right poison. She's like, I'll just test it on this reindeer. We've got more of them. We've got enough reindeer around here for the reindeer games. Nobody will notice. Maybe he's traumatized from the reindeer games. It's like the Hunger Games, though, but with reindeer. Oh, sorry. Let's get on the level. Honest opinions, mom, wife.
I mean, we watch it every year. It's an every year between this and
I just want to say that. Go ahead. Sorry.
between the you almost had me saying it. Between this and Rudolph, it's one of the first ones we watch every single year. And we have our staples that we watch every year. Like, it's... If you haven't watched it, what the hell is wrong with you? Go watch it right now.
Just attack our audience. That's the best way to go about this.
Like, listen, you've had how many years? Many years.
And if you're younger, just blame your parents.
I mean, listen. We have introduced this to our kids roughly when all of them were little.
Oh God, yeah, it's like early as we could.
I mean, Saris and Ridley were born in January, so it took them a little bit, but we've watched it every year. Literally every year since we've been together.
Yep, true facts.
And I mean, I watched it before then, but...
My turn?
Yeah.
No,
Your turn?
Yeah, it's whatever.
Somebody's
if
turn.
you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead. I was trying to find that shot. I was listening.
No,
you don't get a turn.
Wow, it's so rude.
I'm just kidding.
This is a great movie.
This
Like I said,
movie.
it's probably my second favorite movie. It's definitely, like you said, it's on the list of always ones we always watch, and it's worth seeing. Even if you don't celebrate the holiday, it's just a fun movie to watch, and you can just chalk it up as entertainment at that point.
Yes.
But yeah, it's good time. Even the voice acting's kind of fun, even though it's overzealous at times. But it just fits. It fits with everything that's going on. It's like any of the other Rankin-Bass shows. It just fucking fits, and it's wonderful. So yes, definitely watch it if you hadn't seen it, and watch it again if you have seen it.
Especially when Santa realizes what Mrs. Claus has done. He's like, what?
What? He gets so red.
Vixen!
He's like, his eyebrows just go straight down. Like, holy shit.
She's just a baby.
Yeah, you were like,
Still hungover from the cough medicine.
you're like, how? I'm like, she was probably a baby. And then he says,
What if it's not the reindeer's names? What if it's a title? It's kind of like 007 James Bond. It's replaced by a person. You know, that makes sense. They always have the moniker.
so Dasher's fast.
It could be. I don't know. There could be multiple Dashers. I don't know. Anyway, go ahead.
Dancer just dances while they're in the air.
No, I was just trying to find this shot, but I guess I'll have to find another means of doing it.
Dancer has his last dance.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, this is a staple every year. I mean, all these Rankin-Bass movies are.
Oh yeah.
The voice acting is great. The story is hilarious. Yeah, I mean, it's just a classic, man. It's just a classic. And this one is going to be 50 in 2024, so it's pretty crazy how. Another crazy fact is this movie came out 10 years after Rudolph.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't feel like that. Like, it doesn't feel like there's a 10-year gap. They both feel like, I feel like all those movies were just made at the same time. Like, they're just like, we're like, all right, we're done with Rudolph. We're going to move on to, Santa Claus is coming to town. Then we're going to move on to, another one. And, but no, it was Rudolph. And then I think this came out in 74.
Mm-hmm.
Santa Claus is Coming to Town came out in 1970. And, it's just wild stuff. But yeah, this is a staple. I love this movie. Really nothing bad I can say about it. It's hilarious to talk about. It's great to revisit it and get to kind of dive deep into it as an adult and kind of create our own little stories, our own little what ifs type of thing with this. I think it's a lot of fun. But yeah,
wait till we cover Rankin-Bass's Toku stuff.
Ooh,
they worked with Toho and they worked with Subaraya Productions.
That's crazy.
That's fucking hilarious. Go ahead.
That's hilarious. No, I mean that's it for me. I got nothing else. Year Without a Santa Claus is a must watch. So yeah, check it out. It's very, very easy to watch and very easy to find. So check it out if you haven't, and if you already have, just rewatch it again and again and again. And if you don't, He Miser will come to your house and melt it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he won't even burn it. He will just fucking melt it.
Melt it.
Yep.
All right. Well, that is it for the Year Without a Santa Claus. Next week, we're going to be talking about Dan's pick. And Dan has picked 1984's Silent Night, Deadly Night. Oh, man. This is a treat, man. To go from a family classic to
Definitely not
this movie. Oh,
could
man. I'm
be.
so excited. I just snagged the Scream Factory Blu-ray. I'm super excited I want to dive deep into the special features for this. There's a lot of them. So, and there's a theatrical cut and an unrated cut. So I'm going to be watching the unrated cut. So that's what we'll be talking about next week.
Nice.
Very excited. Very excited. But yeah, you can find us at Dissect That Film on all of the social medias. We're on X/Twitter. Which, Angela, did you get a comment on your post about this? Because I didn't get anything.
I did.
So
I did.
that's kind of why I skipped past it. But then I remember I think you did.
I did.
Let me pull that up.
Because
I want to say something while she's pulling it up. This happened a couple weeks ago by the time you watch this episode or listen to this episode. But we actually did a video for Jurassic Collectibles, which is, of course, a Jurassic Park themed collectible channel. And we did an box opening for the latest Magic the Gathering set because it has Jurassic Park cards on it. So you can actually find that on Jurassic Collectibles if you want to hear the both of us bullshit about Magic cards and talk about dinosaurs.
And see my hands.
And see her hands a lot because she opened all the packs. So if you want to see it a lot and us have a good time, jump over there and go give Mr. David some love over at Jurassic Collectibles.
Yes, please.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Okay, my comment was from Podcasts in the Woods. It says, I love all the old claymation flicks.
They are great.
And then Dan commented, says, these Rankin and Bass films were always staples in my house.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah, as I was saying, social medias, we're on all of them at Dissect That Film. We're on Twitter/X. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Threads, Blue Sky. We're on Slasher. That's one I don't really post a lot on, but it's a cool horror-based social media. We're all horror fans get to hang out, so that's cool. We're there. We're all at Dissect That Film. Nothing different on any of those. We have a Patreon/Dissect That Film, where we do extra content. We have a monster show called The Monster Zone, hosted by the wonderful Dan and Angela. We are, hopefully I can release some episodes early before the end of the year to kind of compensate for what I haven't been doing. But yeah, it's just an extra way to support the show, help us financially, pay for some things that we use for the show, and help us maybe upgrade some equipment down the line and do all that fun stuff. And yeah, so we appreciate if you do, and we appreciate all of our current patrons. You're the best. But if you don't have the means to support us that way, what we really would love you to do is go to your favorite podcast app, wherever you listen to us, and rate and review the show, because the more ratings and reviews that we get for the show, the more people will discover us. And that's what we want. We want more people to discover our show and listen to us, because we have fun doing this, and we hopefully people enjoy listening to the show, and that's all free. So go do that. And also on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@dissectthatfilm, we do video forms where you can actually see our faces, and you can see Heat Miser in our episode. What we want you to do is to subscribe, to like, to comment on the video. It's all free, and it really it helps us out there too. So we appreciate all the support. You guys are all amazing. You can find Dan and Angela's links and my personal links down in the description as well. Is that it? Do I got anything else? Am I missing anything?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But yeah, until next time, I am Brett Parker. That is Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming. We are Dissect That Film, and this has been the Dissect That Film podcast, episode 136. Have a wonderful day. And the weather outside is frightful, and the fire's so... Okay, that's it, guys. Bye.